It seems that every week there's a new rumour concerning the City Football Group and who they will purchase next. One week it's a big team in France, next it's in China. What is for sure is that the CFG, of which Manchester City is the biggest team, is quietly changing the way that football is run. City Football Group was founded in January 2013 as a holding company for its sports properties, owned and operated by the Abu Dhabi United Group. That, in turn, is owned by Sheikh Mansour bin Zayed, one of the most powerful members of the Abu Dhabi royal family in the United Arab Emirates. CFG owns 100% of Manchester City and Melbourne City FC. The group owns 20% of Japanese club Yokohama F. Marinos and owns 80% of New York City FC. The other 20% is held by Yankee Global Enterprises, the American owners of the iconic New York Yankees baseball team, controlled by the family of George Steinbrenner. Last year, CFG added 2 more properties, Club Atlético Torque in Uruguay, and most controversially, a 44.3% share in the Spanish club Girona. An identical 44.3% share was owned by Per Guardiola, Pep's brother. Manchester City Women, alongside partnerships with clubs and academies across the world from Ghana to Denmark, also come under CFG's umbrella, as do a number of companies offering marketing and other services. The aim, according to Chairman Khaldoon Al-Mubarak, is to spread the City brand on a global stage. We have an ambition as a football group to have an organisation that is global and that will have multiple clubs as part of it, Mubarak told the club's in-house TV channel City TV. The clubs have been rebranded to fit parent club Manchester City's look and feel. Sometimes sky blue shirts are introduced, sometimes badges are redesigned, sometimes the name of the club is changed altogether, as happened in 2014 when the group bought Melbourne Heart and controversially changed its name to Melbourne City FC. Business deals have followed connected to the Abu Dhabi royal family. Manchester City famously signed a 10-year, £400 million sponsorship deal with Etihad Airways, the national carrier of the United Arab Emirates. Given the huge increase from any previous sponsorship deal and the fact that the company is effectively run by one of Sheikh Mansour's close relatives, Sheikh Hamad bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the deal caught the attention of UEFA, who suspected that it didn't represent a fair market trade. In the end, UEFA approved the sponsorship deal but fined the club a record £49 million for its lavish spending. Those sponsorship deals have continued across the globe. Etihad signed a shirt sponsorship deal with New York City FC and also appears to be on the front of the Melbourne City FC shirts. A massive new kit deal was just signed with Puma, which would apply to all CFG teams except New York City FC, who are obliged to wear Adidas due to a tie-up with MLS. These globalised commercial deals, alongside booming TV rights revenue and the shifting of some costly salaries from City onto its group, has helped to make Manchester City profitable, something that seemed impossible a few years ago given the £1 billion plus spent on transfers since Sheikh Mansour bought the club from deposed Thai Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra in 2008. Last year, City announced that they'd made a profit for a third year running of just over £1 million in 2016-17. There was also record-breaking revenue of close to £473.4 million, placing City in the financial elite of world football. And yet, not all is rosy with how CFG operates, with its globalised stable of clubs raising issues about conflict of interests and controversy surrounding the movement of players between teams within the group. When Spain international David Villa signed for NYCFC, he first went back to Melbourne City FC for a month to gain match sharpness before being shipped back to New York for the start of the season. And then there was the issue of Frank Lampard, signed to NYCFC to much fanfare. Instead, he went on loan to Manchester City. CFG later said that the NYCFC announcement had been a mistake, but one that had far-reaching consequences. The affair had shone a light on City Football Group, who were creating a network of clubs where players and staff might be interchangeable, potentially circumventing local transfer rules and creating all sorts of potential conflict of interest. There had long been worries about owners taking control of multiple clubs, but this was clearly a structure UEFA and other governing bodies weren't prepared for. At the start of 2016, the issue came up again in relation to the signing of 23-year-old Australian midfielder Anthony Caceres. City paid his club, the Central Coast Mariners, the $325,000 Australian dollars fee and promptly loaned him to Melbourne City FC. The move incensed Melbourne City's rivals as cash transfers between clubs are banned in the A-League. The head of Sydney FC tweeted that he believed Caceres to City is wrong. How can the FFA allow this? There are no transfers between A-League clubs, yet it seems you can bypass. It left the Football Federation Australia scrambling to close the loophole before it happened again. There is perhaps another issue other than clever financial tricks to keep City and its group afloat and in profit: the homogenisation of global football culture. Mubarak has stated that the 4 clubs are just the start. I would say when the opportunity arises, and we are looking at opportunities, you can expect us to add to the number of clubs we already have within the organisation, he told City TV. One next stop is likely to be China. Premier Xi Jinping, the man at the heart of China's current football revolution, visited City's training ground in 2015. A few months later, City Football Group sold a 13% stake of the company to China Media Capital and CITIC Capital for close to $400 million, valuing the club at an astonishing $3 billion. China Media Capital was founded by Li Ruigang, often referred to as the Rupert Murdoch of China. He is now a member of the CFG board. Khaldoon al-Mubarak said the move would leverage the incredible potential that exists in China. Yet some worry what this model, superimposing a uniform club culture around the world, will do for indigenous grassroots football. One danger is foreign clubs who see the opportunities in China actually doing something they would never do in their own market, branding locally, said Rowan Simmons, author of Bamboo Goalposts, a book about football's turbulent history in China. In the Beijing Grassroots League, you'd have Barcelona teams 1, 2 and 3, where the branding goes all the way down, and you won't have any organic teams with their own identity. What a horrible world it would be if one day we would see Barcelona Beijing versus Manchester City Beijing FC. The model of borderless super brand football groups is likely to be replicated elsewhere, given the success so far of City Football Group as well as companies like Red Bull and the Pozzo family. Even the likes of Leicester City's owner has dipped his toe into owning a club in Belgium's second division, as are AS Monaco. Qatar's Aspire Academy has also purchased clubs in Belgium and Spain. UEFA's regulations aren't really built for this new form of ownership structure, which will become much more prevalent as the richest clubs get even richer. Europe's governing body was faced with such a problem when Red Bull Salzburg in Austria and RB Leipzig in Germany both qualified, despite both being connected to the parent company of Red Bull. The current rules ban the same owner having 2 teams in the same competition for the sake of integrity, but UEFA's club financial control body approved both teams' appearances.